I'm Mark, and joining us today we have Joe Dale, Julian Coultas, Rachel Smith, Simon Johnson, and Bryn Goodman, although he seemed to have disappeared for a second, but I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. Just before we start the session, here's Bryn. Welcome back, Bryn. Just before we kick off, if we could just introduce ourselves from right to left, or is it left to right? But Simon, if you want to go first and introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from.
Simon Johnson, I'm a teacher of ICT and computing at a secondary school in Wolverhampton.
Brilliant, thanks. And Rachel, what about yourself?
I'm a modern foreign languages teacher at Ramsey Grammar School, which is in the north of the Isle of Man.
Wow, okay, cool. Thank you for joining us today. And then we have Julian.
Hi, I was an English and Media secondary school teacher, but I've been a freelance Apple AEDE for about 8 years.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Julian. And then we have Joe Dale.
Hello, like Rachel, I'm I was a languages teacher, but I was going to say, like Rachel, I live on an island, Isle of Wight, and I'm now a freelance independent consultant.
Brilliant, thanks, Joe. And Bryn is a teacher near Manchester, and I'm sure he'll be back again in a few moments. So if we do our sharing work in left to right in the same order that we have sort of introduced ourselves, which means that first up we'll have Simon. While he's just getting himself set up and what have you, just a reminder, app smashing is using more than one app to try and create a larger sort of learning outcome, which may or may not having some sort of extra media or multimedia tied in with it. And the idea is to try and, like I say, get more than you would get learning-wise from just one individual app. Okay, so the person who coined that term was Greg Kuliewicz, and he joined us last time, but it's quite early in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where he lives, so I suspect he's probably still kipping right now. So first up then, Simon, I'll hand the reins over to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got to share. Thank you.
Okay, morning everyone. I thought, as we've got quite a few people watching today who are quite new, I've just noticed my lower thirds back to front. As we've got a few new people coming in today, I thought I'd do a really basic app smash using 2 free apps so anyone can get started with them. It might have been covered before, but also with the revision season starting, SAT's coming up soon and GCSEs, I thought this would be a nice idea to as a revision guide or revision app. So the apps I'm going to be using are Orasma, which I know everyone on here loves for creating augmented learning experiences, but also something called Docery or Dockery, or I'm sure someone will correct me at some point. So can everyone see my screen?
No.
No, we could just sing yourself.
Let me just check. Let's do. Okay, let's try again.
Yeah, it's just yourself, Simon. No, it's happening.
Hey.
Okay, there's the tunnel.
It's like a Queen video.
How about now? How's it looking now?
Yeah, got you right. Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, so the tools I'm going to be using is Docery and Orasma. So one of the subjects I have to teach, or I say have to teach, one of the subjects I enjoy teaching as well as computer science is binary. So if you're new to binary, the whole idea is that a computer can actually only understand 2 states. They can be on or off with a switch, or it could be high voltage, low voltage, or it could be north and south and the magnet. So a computer kind of converts that to either a 1 or 0. So just like in maths, the students have got to understand how to add binary numbers together. So the tool I use is something called Docery. It's kind of an app for screencasting, like a remote interactive whiteboard, but I find it's got a screen recorder built in, so it's great for creating a screencast. So I'll choose from my iPad alone, and I'll create a new project. Now I'll choose the iPad screen so you'll be able to see it full screen. Now you can choose from different backgrounds. Now a recommendation, if you're using Orasma, Orozma can sometimes have difficulty because instead of using a QR code, it uses image recognition. So sometimes it finds it difficult to recognize really basic images, black and white images. So I tend to use a colored background. So I'll choose a chalkboard for today. This demonstration. We've got several pens. You've got pens, highlighters, eraser tool, standard whiteboard tools. I'm going to choose white. So what I would do is I'll get the students to demonstrate, or I would demonstrate, how to do binary addition. So I'd explain to the students, first of all, that go through an example of denary or base 10 addition, so they remember, and talk about carrying tens, carrying the 1. And then I'd give them a simple binary. So I'll press and record to record my demonstration, or the students would do this. And so I'd give them a simple one, so 1, 0 plus 0, 1. Like so, and I say, okay, well, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. Now, if we want to check our answer to make sure it's correct, then I'd say, well, we can convert it back to denary. So this is the 1's column, this is the 2's column, so this would be 2 plus 1 equals 3. So we know our answer is correct. I'd then go into a more complex example, so I'd say, well, what about this? 0, 1 plus 0, 1. And then I say, well, automatically or straight away, where we have an issue with this here. Let's choose a different, let's choose a highlighter. We know that 1 and 1 is 2, but in binary we can't actually put 2 in here. But from what we've learned about binary, we know that 2 equals 1, 0. So what we do, put the 0 in here, carry the 1, just like we would do in denary or base 10. So then 0 plus 1 is 1, 0. I'll do a whole thing about then students would have in an exam have to understand about adding 8-bit numbers, so I'll go a bit further. Then I'll stop the recording. And then I can play that back. So that's the one I did earlier. So let's go back to the one I just created. Let's try again. Project. Now, for some reason that's not working, so what I can do is if I do a previous example, that should have saved and exported, so I'll just do a record and then just a quick stop recording. There it is, strange. So I click on that, I'll export it. So share, save my video, that will save it to the camera roll. And then I'll go out to that, go into my camera roll. And everyone should know how to do a print screen, but I press play to play my video. And then I'll just hold down the off switch and the third switch and the home button to take a photo. I then print that out. I've got one I'll show you I've created earlier in a moment. But then what I'll do is open up Orozma. So Orozma, if you've never used it before, allows you to create augmented reality experiences. So it augments videos or images or 3D objects into the real world using the camera. So I'll start Orozma and I'll create a new experience. So I'll click on the Orozma icon at the bottom. I click on Add to add a video. So I'll click on Device to add an image from or video from my device. So there's my, so if I click on plus in the top corner, access my photo album and choose Recent and that one there, my video today, and use. I give it a name, so binary. Then I select my video that I've just done, and then I can link it to an image. So I select it, and then this is the fun part. So trying to link it to an image. Now I'll just try it now. So if it likes it, it'll go green. Okay, and then when it goes green, turn the way around, you can then take a photo and link it to that. Now the light in this room is not very good, so I'm going to show you an example I've done earlier. So if I load up a resume. So here's one I've done with my students. If you can still see that. So if I go back and go back home. Okay, hopefully.
Welcome to my first lesson in binary. In this lesson we'll look at adding two binary numbers together. First of all, let's recap adding two denary numbers all base 10. Let's start with this simple sum, 12 plus 21. So, first of all, we look at the units column. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Then the tens, 1 plus 2 is 3, and that gives us 33. Let's try marking.
So the whole idea is that the students can create revision resources. Now, the one thing I love about this type of app smash is that you could get the students just to create a standard video or a presentation, but where does that presentation video go? Sometimes they might upload it to a wiki, sometimes they might upload it to okay, let's go back. Can you see me again now?
Yeah.
So the students might upload to a wiki or YouTube, but most of the time the videos ends up in their documents and never seen again. But the fact that you're creating a resume and you've got the wow factor and you've got that hook, students think, well, someone's going to watch my video, so they take more care creating the video, and they'll probably take 2 or 3 takes to get it perfect, make sure they understand the topic, and it's that creation process and that doing it over and over again that helps them understand it more than the actual product at the end, but still creates a great visual for the wall where they can recap and use in the future. But I think you could use it for SATs, for looking at, so you could have a sentence showing where to put apostrophes and commas, punctuation. You can use it for lots of maths ideas and obviously computer science. And it kind of based on the idea from Richard Wells' Living Art. So you could, and I haven't got one with me, but I've got a stand which with a adapter for a standard tripod, so you could actually record it live you do it on the whiteboard, on a sheet of paper, and do it that way. But I like this, it's nice and free and accessible for everyone.
Brilliant.
Very good.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Simon. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Right. Any sort of questions about Simon's presentation at all? Or we all over that?
That was good. It's good. Dosery is a nice. I do like it as a screen capturing app. Everybody likes explain everything, but I find Dosery for some learners really, really, really useful. So it's a good choice sometimes.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much again, Simon. So next up we have Rachel, who's sharing some revision techniques, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll pass over to you then, Rachel, and you're now presenting to everyone. There you go.
Okay. Can everybody see that? Have you got me?
I've got you.
Yeah, we can see your face, but we can't see your presentation yet. Oh, it's coming now, I think.
Yeah, I think that's working now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Right, for this, I've decided to do this app smash. It came out of a particularly horrible Year 11 lesson that I had last week, where we were trying to go through an exam paper that my students hadn't done particularly well on, and they didn't particularly like the lesson, and I was quite concerned they didn't really get anything out of it. And then at the weekend, I read John Thompson's blog about metacognition and annotating an exam paper. And although I've not done exactly what he speaks about in his blog, I've kind of taken that idea and used it for this app smash. So these are the applications that I'm going to use today. I'm going to use Poplet Lite, Skitch, Telegami, and Pics. They're obviously all going to go through in and out of my photos, my camera roll, and finally we're going to bring them all together in ThingLink. And I think we're all a bit lovers of ThingLink for an app smash ending, aren't we? So what I did first of all with my students was I asked them to go to we use Edexcel, so they went to the Edexcel website. They found the paper that we had done, and this was the question that they all got rather badly wrong. And I asked them to screenshot the question and the text, as you can see. And so that's gone into their camera roll. And then I asked them to launch Poplet. Now, Poplet's an app in which you can make spider diagrams, really. And what I wanted them to do in this app was to pick out all the words that they got wrong and translate them into English, because vocabulary actually turned out to be a bit of an issue in this particular question. So when you're in Poplet, if you double tap on the screen, it brings you up what they call a popple, and it looks like this on the screen that you can see now. If you tap T, you can add text. And if you tap the sort of square thing to the left, which is shown on the screen now, you can change the colour of your bubble, so you can categorise things together. So what I got them to do was obviously show what exam they were using, and in fact what question, and then they had to add all the vocabulary that they got wrong, find the English, and when they'd completed their spider diagram, they just saved that as a JPEG. You can see on the right hand side, you can export it as a JPEG, and it goes straight into your camera roll. So here's one I did earlier, looks like that, and we popped that, something similar, into our camera roll, and the students categorised them however they wanted to, really. So that was my first little app, and that little picture's now sat in there waiting for us to use in a moment. Then what I asked them to do was I asked them to further crop their picture that they'd taken from the exam paper, so that they could add kind of context to their revision, because sometimes if you just learn a word out of context, it doesn't really mean anything to you. And so what I wanted them to do was I wanted them to be able to put this vocabulary that they didn't know into the context of the exam paper. And so we put it into Skitch, which is an annotation app. It's free, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and it's dead easy to use. When you open it up and you put your picture in, you tap on the little arrow at the bottom down here. Can everybody see that? And if you tap on the pen up here, then you've got a highlighting tool, and the students can highlight and annotate the text, which is what they did. If you tap on your pen, you can make it into a highlighter, and that's just circled on the screen now. And you tap on the colours, you choose your colour, your width, and away you go. And you can see you can highlight the text, you can highlight the things that you got wrong, and that kind of links back to your little spider diagram. You can put arrows on to add emphasis. You can even add little stickers to further highlight things that you feel you may need to remember. On this screen, I just wanted to show you that if you do actually, it's quite easy to put loads and loads of arrows on or loads and loads of stickers on. But if you highlight something that you want to get rid of, and it comes in blue, like on my screen here, and then you hit delete down at the bottom, it just disappears. So my students happily annotated their text, and they had loads of these to do because they screenshot lots and lots of little bit of their exam paper, and they annotated away, and they saved it to their camera roll in this fashion by tapping photos and into photos. All their little screenshots went into their camera roll like this. Now the next bit, I do quite like to add a little bit of fun to my work, and sometimes I find that for quite a lot of my students, writing it down and highlighting it isn't enough. If they actually say it out loud, they can remember stuff more readily. So what I gave them a choice. They could either use Telegami or Chatterpix, or even, in fact, they could have used Yakit Kids apps to create some voice reminders for themselves. I'm going to show you Telegami and Chatterpix. I think we all use Telegami quite a lot. I've only got the free version, and actually I kind of like it that way because there's less faffing about. The kids can't, forever keep changing clothes and hair and eyes because there aren't that many options. So I do like an app which doesn't have a lot of fuss. So what I liked about Telegami is it's not very fussy, but you can doodle on your background. So if you click background in Telegami and then doodle, you can change your brush thickness and you can actually write on your background. And so what I was trying to encourage my students to do, in this case, ne jamais is as a negative, and they often forget that it means never. And the exam boards like to put it in to try and trick them. And so I really wanted to emphasize these things that exam boards like to put in for our students to try and trip up over. So they highlighted that, and then from here, if you click back, oops, sorry, you then get to message, and you can record your voice like this, and you save it into your camera roll. Can everybody see I've done that? Lovely. Okay. So we've got all sorts of little bits and bobs there. The next thing I did, and if they didn't use Telegami, they used Pics. Now, my class love Pics because they find it really funny. Pics is an app that allows you to make pictures seemingly talk. And I've had a little bit of an issue with, well, I have an issue with not using Creative Commons photos in schools. And so I was really pleased when I came across this website, Photos for Class, which gives you Creative Commons photos that you can download, and they're attributed when you download them. It does come with a little bit of a health warning that you should check the attributions every so often to make sure that you can use them for the purpose with which you want to use them. And it is your responsibility to do that. But my kids went to Photos for Class and they chose a photograph that they wanted to use. And in fact, they chose this particular one, which is a question mark. And then we launched Pics. And if you tap on Take Photo, and then this little icon down on the left-hand side that you can see, it opens up your camera roll, and you can bring your photograph in. Then you draw a line where you want your mouth to be, and you record. And you record whatever you wanted to say. Now, the kids here were trying to say that they needed to remember that they had to read the question, and if the question said only tick 4 boxes, they should only tick 4 boxes, because a lot of mine think, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll tick 6, but of course they lose all the marks if they do that. And you save it to your camera roll. So there we go. We've got quite a few things in our camera roll now. And finally, I brought all of those things into ThingLink. So we used the Poplet picture as our background, and ThingLink allows you to put hotspots on there of text and video, and so they brought those in and they put them at the appropriate place. So, for example, they would have their ne jamais video up here with ne jamais, and they would have basic things about the exam in the centre there. And what it means is that they've got some kind of interactive revision tool that they can go away and learn from. And I think that's that. Those are my apps that I used. I think that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Rachel. Thank you.
Awesome stuff, Rachel.
I love that Photos for Class. I've not seen that. I use a thing called CC Search, which enables you to search through Flickr, but I'm definitely checking out that Photos for Class. And yeah, really innovative and creative app smash there. Thank you ever so much. Anyone else want to just add anything to that?
I just love the way you're using Poplet with ThingLink. Just a simple but great idea.
Yeah, I like simple.
With the tips in Sketch, is it possible to make the text size bigger, or is it just a standard size you can't move? Do you know? Because I tried to. Someone asked me that the other day, and I couldn't work out how to make the text bigger on the tips option in Sketch.
I don't think you can, and actually, without playing on the app, I can't tell you. You can certainly make it bolder. So
you can make it bigger, guys. What you need to do in Sketch is type the text, and then leave it as a floating object. And when it's a floating object, you can do a spread with your fingers, just like you would do any other objects that are on there. And it will, like, you know how you can make your arrows bigger and smaller.
Right,
exactly the same
yeah,
way.
but that's the text, Julian. But is the same true of the tips option?
Oh no, sorry. I thought, I thought you were saying text. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. That's fine. Yeah, I think it's not possible. That's the impression I get, which is a shame in a way because it's quite the text size is quite small with the tips. So having the tips is a good idea, but I just think it's a shame you can't resize seemingly by pinching.
Okay. Brilliant. So thank you again ever so much, Rachel. That was really, really cool. Thank you. Next up we have Julian Coultas, Digital Road Trip on Twitter, and you're going to share your iPad with us now, if that's okay. Thank you.
Cheers, Mark. Let's see if I can go full screen here. Just let me know if that looks okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the I'll just kind of explain it very, very quickly. If you take like a primary school context with say 30 iPads all out in the classroom, the kids are doing some work and the teacher wants to get some evidence of that work really, really quickly. You know, sometimes we'll use AirServe or we might use Apple TV, and it takes a while to log in and connect. And sometimes kids don't disconnect properly. It creates a lot of kerfuffle. As much as we love it, it can be a real challenge. So there's this really interesting app here called Party Snapper on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side I've got a symmetry app. So I'm just going to draw very, very simply, very kind of simple face. Just put some. So imagine this could be an art class in secondary. Obviously not with my drawing skills, but it could be any kind of visual app that we're working with on the iPad. You could even argue this would work with a screenshot of text. So say I've drawn my picture here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save the image, okay, to the camera roll. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, let's just say, for example, this is kind of work in progress. The kids are all working, and I can say to the kids, halfway through the lesson, right, you know, I really want to have a look at what you're doing. Can you share your work with me? So rather than sharing over Apple TV and sharing over AirServe and the like, what I might do is you run the Party Snapper app. So that's on the right-hand side here. So I choose Host a Party. I've got a learning party going on here already at the moment. So I'm just going to launch this one here. It's our amazing pictures. So I'll just launch this. And what you'll see streaming on the iPad is a series of images that have already been sent from the kids in the classroom. Now, these go directly to the teacher's iPad. You don't have any AirServer issues. You don't have any Apple TV issues. There's no logging in, logging out. So if you look on the left-hand side, how does it work as a student? So it works like this. I open the Party Snapper app as a pupil or as a student. And it's asking me, do I want to take a picture or do I want to host a party? Now, the party is already being hosted by my teacher, who's a great party animal, obviously. And I'm going to take a picture. Now, rather than, I could take a picture of my work, obviously, or I could take a picture in class, but what I want to do is obviously share the picture that I've just saved. So I go in, pick up the picture here, and you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner our amazing pictures, which is the party that's being hosted by the teacher. Watch out for the guy with the spiky hair coming in. So I tap on send, and that will send that image to the party. And on the right-hand side, that image is just coming in view now. So what I have on screen is a continually rolling kind of back channel of visual content the kids are feeding me. So I don't necessarily have to move around the classroom and look at all their iPads. They don't have to share, come out to the front, plug into a cable. We've got a constantly scrolling wall of work. And the teacher at any time can highlight a picture and bring that picture to the fore. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to close that iPad down and bring this one up. So let's just make that a full screen. Okay, so if I just stop hosting the party there. Quick way to host a party, tap on the plus button. I give that, maybe it's my vocabulary lesson, maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, it could be any lesson across the curriculum really, where you just want to take a screenshot and share something. Tap on create and we're up and running. Now the joy of this app is that all of those images that have been scrolling through have automatically saved into your photos as an album. And there they all are. There's the last image in the bottom left-hand corner that I just added. So for primary school teachers that want to collate images and screenshots really, really quickly, this is probably the fastest way you're ever going to do it on an iPad. So that's the first share that I want to do. Is that okay? Can I share another really, really quick one? Have I got time to do that?
Go for it, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second thing that I want to show you is this app. It's really for creating animated text. And it's called Legend. And to find this, you would have to find it as an iPhone app. basically what it does is it will put some text in for you, but obviously if you wanted to put a quote in, maybe the Shakespeare quotes or lines of text from a piece of poetry that you want to revise, we'll type those in here. We can even add a picture, but I'm going to leave the picture. I'm going to tap on next. It will create a bunch of animated versions of these. And you can see I can tap on the buttons at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, create different, choose one that I really like. So I'm going to go for this one here. And then I can pimp them even further by adding colour options, which is all very, very nice. Okay, now if I want to save these, I've got a couple of options. I can save them as a video, and I'll do that here. And that will save it as a video to the camera roll, which is fine. What I can also do, for those of you that like things like Pic collage, is I can save as an animated GIF in Pic collage. That's the cul-de-sacs that we go into. So what we can do is we can choose copy here. Paste into Pic collage. Notes, the free Notes app from Apple. Just create a new note, paste the object in there, and has that disappeared off screen? Just let me know, because it's disappeared off my screen. Maybe I just need to reconnect on Airplane here.
You dropped out a little bit for a second then, Julian.
I'm just trying to bring it back on screen here, hopefully it'll come back on. It's always the way, isn't it, when you present? Always the way. What I might do, let's just see if I can. I've been on AirPlay fine the whole time. Let's just see if I can. Right, that way. Sorry guys about this. Just bear with me. We're back there.
There you go.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Hopefully, Mark, you can do some creative editing before this goes out. I don't know if it works like that. So
live right now, unfortunately.
So we're in Notes here. Look. So to save this, what I'm going to do is just hide the keyboard, hold the image. That saves the animated GIF to the camera roll. I then go to Pic collage. Open up Pic collage, and if I want to create a new one, tap on here, but I've already got one in motion here, so I go to the camera, go to photos, and hopefully the last thing that I've just created will be in there, and then that will add. So it's a great way for, again, for young ones to add kind of animated graphics.
That's sweet.
Pic collage.
That's cool.
Really loving it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The other thing, just to finish with this, is if you go to Imovie, because I know this is really about app smashing with lots and lots of different apps, and I'm just trying to keep it simple. If I launch Imovie, you can add these graphics as kind of like icons. You know, like if you were branding, if you had the kids working in a group and they were branding some kind of project, well, you can just drop them in. And obviously in Imovie, you can move them around, resize them, and position them where you like. So here in Imovie, I've got a graphic created in the Legend app. I've got a bit of the doing green screen going on, and then I've got a cut there to Adobe Voice. So you know, the app has become this incredible tool now for mashing stuff up.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd just give you that as an example. It's a great way of creating animated graphics for a still image within Pic collage, but it could also be used by older students in a more sophisticated way. Here in Imovie. That's me done, guys.
Brilliant, Julian. Well done. Thank you.
I'm going to be all over that later today.
Can you the name of those apps again for those people that are watching, just in case they missed them?
Yeah, sure. Let me just get rid of the screen jobby there. Am I off full screen? Yeah, fine. So we've got the Legend app, which is an iPhone-only app. Legend as in I am Legend, not me personally, obviously. We've also got. I don't know. We've got. So what else have we used? We've used Legend. We've used the Party Snapper app. Party Snapper app is actually really expensive. I hope you're sitting down. It's £22 for a single user. But what happens is you can use a free version and it'll take 10 pictures if you want to trial it. I trialed it with 10 pictures and it was just so awesome. I just thought, you know what, for 22 quid, I am going to buy that. And I've used it everywhere, and it's had a massive impact on people, especially in the primary sector. You don't need to put. It's not £22 for the students. It's only £22 for the teacher. I've spoken to Boinks about creating an education license, and they are looking into it. So that was it, really. It was the Party Snapper and the Legend app, and obviously I was then using Pic Collage and Imovie as places to put them into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant, Julian. Thank you ever so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Right, next up, Joe. I don't miss an App Smash Live ever. Dale. Is this App Smash Live 5, 6, 3, 4?
Well, officially it's 6, but I'm sure that number 3 or number 4 went missing somewhere. I didn't actually take part in number 2 or 3. But anyway, yeah. So is it my? Yeah, it's my turn. Right, here we are. So, I'll share my screen. Hang on. Oh, right. Okay. Hang on. If I just tap. Hang on. Here we are. Right. Okay. Right. Start screen share. Right. Can you see App Smashing with motion stickers?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. So I'm hoping the apps I'm going to be showing you are going to be new to most people today. I started this presentation about 9 o'clock this morning, so I just about got it done in time. And anyway, and it's all good. And motion stickers. So App Smash with motion stickers. So let's make a start. So as I've done in the past, I've made it nice and easy for everyone. I haven't actually checked these QR codes work, but they should work. So if you scan any of these QR codes, it will take you to the App Store where you can download the apps. So I'm hoping some of these apps are new to people. Obviously, Imovie everyone knows about, but Vimo, Nito or Nito, I don't know how you pronounce it, and Nutshell is what I'm going to be talking about today and how it can be used to enhance learning in the classroom. So first of all, I'm starting off with the first one, which is Vimo, not Vimeo. When you do a search for Vimo in Google, it tries to give you Vimeo links, which is quite annoying. But anyway, this is Vimo. And what I did start off with was, as you can see, I've got the helpful arrows, although I don't normally have the arrows in red, but obviously red on red doesn't really work. So I've made this one as a special occasion white. So I tapped on the camera option, first of all, in Vimo. And I did a clever little trick, I think. It may have been Julian that showed me this, but anyway, what you can do, as opposed to just shooting video there and then, with a standard camera, what I did was I just covered over the camera, so it made it more or less a black background. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to create an effect, which you'll see in a minute with my titles coming on. And I think Julian told me about this in iMovie as a way of fading from at the end of your presentation. If you want to fade to black, then this is a really nice way of doing that. I think it's now possible to do it natively in iMovie, but this is a little trick. So normally you just like see my lovely face, as it were, but for today I decided to cover over the camera to create this effect. Then you just press the record button and you start recording. So I recorded for about 15 seconds, as you can see. And then I pressed the plus sign on the right-hand side with my nice red arrow now. And I added my motion sticker. So the one I added here was the one with the speech marks around it, which I thought would be nice. I've just gone for sort of 1 or 2 words per motion sticker, because the more text you add, which is a bit annoying really, the more text you add, the smaller the font gets, which is really annoying actually, I think. But I'm sure you can pinch, as we were talking about earlier about Sketch, I'm sure you can pinch it, but natively it's not, you can't choose the font size unless you pinch. So I tapped on label and I added, I tapped on text here, and then as it's obviously we're talking about app smashing, I wrote the word app smash, and I chose the font that I wanted, which is the one in red on the left-hand side. From then, you then tap on the little hand icon, and you can then move the motion sticker around on the screen, and it will record the whole thing. So as you can see there, you just tap away and you record the movement as an animation. So as you can see there's app smashing, which is now no longer where it was. I've moved it somewhere else on the screen. Now, because it takes a little bit of time, oh yeah, so, and then you can see as well, once you've done that, you can see that the little, like, the animation is there. So very similar to sort of iMovie or this sort of thing, but this is the first type of app I've seen that does this sort of thing, which I thought was quite cool. And then I saved that. Well, I tapped on the little tick. Let's just go back a sec. I tapped on the tick. Oh, I should have had another arrow, shouldn't I? I tapped on the tick top right, and that took me to this screen. And then I tapped on. I would have tapped on the save to camera roll top right there, but I just wanted to show you how you would then add a label on and how to move it. But actually, because I did this a couple of days ago, playing around with this, this is an example which I did on whenever it was Thursday. So I've created the titles App Smashing with Vimo and Nutshell, but the number of animations you would need would be what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got 5 on the screen, but if you watch the video, which I've published later on, then you can see that they all move independently of each other and then all come together, so they look really nice at the end. So as a way of creating a set of titles, as it were, I think this could be very, very, very good, very nice. Then you save what you've done to the camera roll in the obvious way, and there we are. So that's that first section. So you can see that in the video at the end if you're interested. Then what I did was I went into the Nito or Nito app, and as you can see there, you can take a lovely picture of yourself, as you do. You then tap on the tick, and then miraculously what happens is suddenly you become an avatar. Now this is there are quite a few free avatars. There are some you have to pay for, but if you've always wanted to be a little yellow circle, this is your opportunity. So when you speak, you can see you've got my lovely face top left there. The mouth moves at the same time, which is really cool. So I know there are other avatar apps out there like this, but I only came across this one recently, and I think it's really cool. So, for example, in modern foreign languages, it would be very good for speaking and this sort of thing, but you could use it in anything. You could use it similar to what Julian was talking about earlier with the little GIFs in iMovie. You could have your character talking over the top of some footage as well. You can only record for 30 seconds, but I think that's okay for lots of things. And obviously, you could make multiple ones and stitch them all together in, say, iMovie or YouTube Capture or Videolicious or whatever. Now, if you tap on the arrows on the left or the right-hand side there, you can see the other avatars that you can download. But I just went with the default one because I thought it looked really cool. So, having done that, you press record. As you can see, it's saying recording there. Then you press the stop, or you just wait for it to finish its 30 seconds. Okay. When that happens, you tap on the share icon, bottom right. You save it to the camera roll by tapping on the photo option. And there we are. Then you go back to the Vimo app and you tap on album. And this time, instead of tapping on the label option, I've tapped on the stickers option. Now, there's quite a few of these which are free, but you can see all the ones at the bottom, they're like garden, music, feeding, cooking. You have to pay for those, or you can pay, I think, a one-off payment of about £4 or £5 to get all of them. But the ones I'm particularly interested in are the ones that you can customize where you can add your own text. So as you can see, I've tapped on OMG, wow, and the little stars there. And as you can see now, what I've done is I've added those onto my avatar. Now, I could have moved them around if I'd wanted to, but I thought I'd just leave them where they were to give that effect as well, because I've already described how you can move them if you want and then record that, but I just left them as they were. So there we are. That's that bit. So this could be good for maybe keywords, or when the character is talking, or you're talking, if you didn't want to have an avatar and wanted to have your actual face, then when you mention a certain keyword, that could then come up onto the screen. Which I mean, I wouldn't use it for subtitling; that would be crazy. But just for keywords or sort of little images, it could be quite nice to make it interesting. So then you export to camera roll. So you tap the export to camera roll option top right there. There it is, processing the video. And there it is. That's the second bit. Now the third bit with motion stickers is an iPhone app called Nutshell, which I've just come across recently. This was Prezi who created this app, and I think it's quite cool for sort of a bit like Vine, like short messages with video clips. You're basically taking 3 little video clips, and it all stitches together, and then you can add motion stickers over the top. Now, what you can't do with this at the moment is you can't create something in the camera roll and then import it from the camera roll into the app. You have to shoot it all live. So I think for things that have plenty of movement and interest and jump from sort of 3 different sections within a clip, it works really nicely. So I just did this morning, as you do. So I started my first shot looking at a pad, and then I wrote the word hello, and then, well, you'll see anyway. So you tap on the number 1 option, and it starts to record. You then tap on the number 2 option, you move the camera, record something else, tap on number 3, move the camera, and then it saves the whole video in the way that you can see there. So I then tapped the add text option, and I added my motion sticker. So this could be good for sort of short bits of text, and you could use it in lots and lots of different ways. In modern foreign languages it would be amazing, I'm sure, but you could use it for any sort of screen tip, as it were. You can see I've got the 3 shots underneath, and then having added the text, you then tap on the next one and tap add, and then you can add other text or other motion stickers. So as you can see there, I wrote the word app smashing, which felt very apt for the first shot. Then tapped add. I moved also app smashing up to the top, which you can do very easily. I then tapped add. I chose this caption, the middle one, but I could have added things like arrows or stars or other things as well. Wrote the word with, as you can see. Then moved it onto my forehead. And then I just pointed the camera at the screen, at the ceiling, and took a picture of the light, and then wrote the word nutshell, and there we are. So then, having tapped that, I tap finish. Just go back a sec. I tap finish, and then tap on the arrow there to share it. Tap the save to camera roll option, and there we are, saved to the camera roll. And then I put all 3 clips into Imovie. And I stripped out the audio. So what I did was I tapped on all the videos and then tapped the detach option and then recorded my voiceover over the top. Now I could have kept the voices when I'd recorded it. I could have kept the voices that I put on there originally, but I wanted a nice consistent sound just for the purposes of explaining this. But if you were doing it yourself, you might want to keep the audio for obvious reasons. So I deleted the audio by tapping on detach, and then just pressing delete bottom right, or I could have held my finger down on the audio and dragged it into the viewfinder instead. So I did the same for all 3. Then I tapped on the microphone option, and I recorded my voiceover over the top. And there we are. And so it's like a nice consistent audio sound. I then tapped on the arrow on the left-hand side at the top, tapped export, and saved it to the camera roll, saved video, and there it is. So I think motion stickers with app smashing work really nicely. It's almost like a type of augmented reality, I suppose. So it's appearing on the top of the video, and it's a nice way of adding extra information, be it keywords, be it little sort of funny images, little people that you can add, and it'd be a nice way of bringing things to life. Now, if I'd had more time, I would have talked about an app called Doodly, which is Doodly, and that also allows you to add little white stickers onto your onto still images. And what's nice about it is you can actually create your own stickers and draw them, and then have them in your sort of customized stickers, which you can then add. So if I'd had more, obviously I'm sure I've done my whatever amount of time we've had already, but I would have taken those pictures with the doodlies added, and then put them into, say, Book Creator, added recorded a voiceover or 30 hands, saved that as a video clip, and then imported that into the movie as well. But if you wanted to scan that QR code, it will take you to YouTube, and you can watch the final product of everything that I've done today. So I hope you found that useful, and here are my contact details if you want to get in touch. Thanks for listening.
Brilliant, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Can you spell doodly for us?
Yeah.
I'm a dude.
OOD DOODLY, Doodly. Yeah, I tried to show you some apps which maybe you hadn't heard of. So yeah, so Vimo, Nito, Nutshell, and Doodly. There we are. But I didn't want to. I thought if I did the Doodly stuff as well, it would have been too long. But maybe I'll do that next time.
So how much are those apps? Any?
Right, so I think I'm right in saying they're all free. Yeah, Naito's got in-app purchases, but there were plenty of avatars you can download for free.
Yeah.
Vimo is free, and Nutshell is definitely free. But with Vimo, you can you can pay for like stickers, extra stickers, but you've got quite a few basic ones which are free. So it's like the freemium model. And I did, just on that point as well, I did use Clips to start off with, Clips Video Editor, which is a free app, a bit like iMovie, but for some reason it cut off the top and the bottom of the screen, so the ratio of the screen dimensions was not what I wanted, which was a real shame. But if you're looking for a free alternative to iMovie, have a look at Clips, because it's really nice. And a thing I really like about it is you can record your audio over the top. So if you were doing, say, an animation using, say, Lego Movie Maker, you could do your Lego Movie Maker, save it to the camera roll, import it into Clips, and as an alternative to adding a voiceover in iMovie, as I was showing in the presentation, you could use Clips instead. But I haven't worked out how to change the screen dimension so it doesn't cut off the top and the bottom. It's widescreen, basically. But anyway, if anyone can help me on that, that's great. But it's a nice little tip using Clips Video Editor as opposed to iMovie, which you may have to pay for unless you get a new iPad. Anyway, I'll stop now, and thanks for listening.
Brilliant, Joe. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, so we're coming up nearly on the first hour, so let's move swiftly on to Bryn. Are you all good with the internet now and everything?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, we won't drop out partway through. I don't know what was going on there.
Right, so should be presenting you to everyone now. Although I can't see, I can only see Joe. Can people see Bryn on the main screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try and share screen now. Hopefully, can you all see that? Can you all see the?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. I'm finally loads up. Don't tell me it's going to die on me.
There you go.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. Our school I teach at is well known for its international links, and one of the countries that we have links with is Australia. We've had teachers visit Australia. We've had Australian teachers visit us as well. So the Year 6 classes were learning about Australia, and my kind of task was to teach them a little bit about the Sydney in Australia. And I discovered on the Maps app on the iPads these flyover tours, which are there for many of the major cities in the world, and they found them really, really great. The children absolutely loved them. So what we did is we found the flyover tour for Sydney, and they watched it and took screenshots of the major landmarks. As you can see here, they took screenshots of the Sydney Opera House, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, etc., and collected those in the camera roll. Then they did a little bit of research about each of those landmarks that they'd taken screenshots of, so they had information about them. And then we moved on to an app that actually, Mark, you introduced me to, which is Vidro, which is an absolutely fantastic. I think it's my new favourite app, Vidro. It's absolutely fantastic, and the best of all is it's free. I think I'm right in saying that in the free version you can only have 5 presentations, but you can, as you go along, you can delete them and start new ones, etc. So the free one is usually enough to use in the classroom. And the good thing about it is it's basically, it's a little bit like, I suppose the nearest thing is Explain Everything, because you can, sorry about this, it keeps jumping over there. You can add things like, you can add images, you can add text, you can add drawings, you can add a really cool funky theme music if you like. With the voice record button here, you can add voice to your presentation, and it creates really quite professional looking videos or presentations. I mean, here's an example of one that the Year 6s started. So they'd imported an image from the camera roll of Sydney Opera House that they took during the flyover tour, and then added some text to label the photograph more clearly, and then they might use the microphone button to add some oral information about that they'd researched earlier, or they might use the text tool to add a little bit more text, and they might go and add some background music to it. And there's quite a lot of features that you can add to it, but it does kind of work very intuitively and very simply, particularly for primary children. I mean, as you can see on the slide here, I've given some examples of the kind of things you can add. I think it's quite similar in a way to Adobe Voice, but maybe a little bit more versatile in what you add to the presentations. So once the children had added those, hopefully this is now going to link to a finished presentation. So I'm going to try and see. Oh yeah, hopefully we can see it now. Any minute now. It should link now to my my Dropbox. And this is a finished one. It's only quite a short one. You're going to get the volume. Oh. Bear with me. Internet's very slow. There we go. So it creates quite a nice, professional-looking final product in not a lot of time. And obviously you can change the style of the theme music to whatever you like, and try and make it fit both the content. And there we go. And that's me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Bryn. Thank you. It'd be very nice to maybe get your students to speak over the top as well, perhaps.
Yeah. So I mean, when we did it, some of them did.
Yeah.
It was just that particular one didn't, but some of the students did when they did it. But yeah, you're right. That kind of adds an extra dimension to it. Definitely.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing. So yeah, we've got 2 minutes left for the hour, and that sort of leaves me at the end. So I'm going to go quite quickly, actually, and I'm not going to sort of show all the various stages because I think that well, I don't want to insult the audience, and certainly if you want to find out more about some of the things that I'm going to talk about, then there are links to those sorts of things on my blog. Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm going to talk about just two simple apps which you can use. Like some people have mentioned already, I'm going to talk a little bit about revision. Something that I used to ask my students to do was to create sort of top trumps cards, so that it would help them with their revision. Okay, and there's a variety of different apps that you can use to create top trumps cards. For example, I quite like the app you can see here. Can you just confirm? Can you see my iPad screen?
Yeah.
Cool. So there's a few apps here that you could make some sort of top trumps cards or revision posters with. One, for example, is there's Foster, which I believe is 69p. Then there's that Runner Design, which is in the bottom right-hand corner, which I've talked about before. You can use things like Pic Collage as well and Over for dropping text in, and we've heard about Sketch today as well. There are lots of different apps, maybe not brushes. There are lots of different apps that you can use to create posters with words on. Quipio is another example. InstaQuote is another one, and they create nice things. But thanks to Simon, who's joining us today, he recommended an app recently called WordSwag, and I got to say, swag! It is so cool. And whilst I can use Photoshop, whilst I can use a wide variety of different tools to create great graphics, when it comes to learning, I don't want my kids spending loads of time fiddling around and faffing around with things that could be done really simply and effectively using apps such as WordSwag. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how you can make a WordSwag. And the idea is to basically create some kind of revision card, and it could be for anything. So I'm going to sort of link to MFL, since you've got an MFL teacher with us or two today. So when you load WordSwag, you see the screen that you can see here, and you can choose either the camera icon to take a picture and use that as your background, or you can tap on the sort of image, the Polaroid sort of card image on the right-hand side. So I'll do that. Now I could tap on camera roll in the top right-hand corner. I could use one of the many backgrounds that you can see here, or I can actually search Pixabay for images. So I'm going my thing is going to be about some French words. So actually, I'm just going to be really quite sweepingly generalistic about France and just type, Eiffel Tower, like so, and then search as Pixabay and find some quality images that you can use for your background. So not being picky at all, I'll just choose the first image, like so, and that will bring that through. He says. Scratching his head. There we go, brings it through. And you can then choose whether you want to square crop it or not, and you can also pinch to resize the image and what have you as well, like so. I'll leave it as a don't crop, so just tap don't crop in the top right hand corner, and then you get your image. Now, basically, you then get a variety of things that you can do with the text. So you can see my text moving around there. Now you've got a bar there. It says style, color, and image. If we go to style, you can see there's a variety of different writing styles. So let's just again be quite year 8 French or year 7 French. Bonjour, mon matin. No, that's not right, is it? No. Okay, so that's who. Mark. Now it could be, quotes from Shakespeare plays. A plague on both your houses. Act 3, Scene 1. Whatever you wanted to do. Okay. Choose your background image. A bit of Leo, whatever. Okay. So you've chosen your quote, your thing you want to revise, whatever it is, and then pop your name down at the bottom if you want to. Have some sort of reference link to it. Hit save and close, and then it drops on. Now. So WordSwag does some nice options. So I'm on the stack attack option, and you can see across the bottom I've got 5 presets. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I can roll the dice, and there are a variety of different setups across that you can see there. Okay, so it could be that I want to use curtains, and it does that. It could be I choose 20,000 liters under the sea. Each of those different options you've got across there, and there are loads to choose from. As you can see, so it could be paper hearts, for example. I find it's quite pretty. Okay, that's quite Frenchy, isn't it? Okay, so you make it. Okay. Once you've done your text, you can then go to colour, and you can mess around with that, and you can add transparency to the text, or you can invert it so you can see things through it like that, so you can mask out the text. That's quite nice. And you can also then go to image, and you can blur the image behind, which is quite nice. So it means that the text is a bit more like poppy, and what have you. If you wanted to keep the image like that, full on, you could just increase the brightness perhaps, or darken it, depending on what colour your writing is, to make it stand out. You can also get some sort of Instagrammy sort of effects with the options normal, vibrant, sweet, Broadway, so forth and so on, that you can see there. When you're done, you just simply hit done. And that saves that to your camera roll. So you can repeat that process for lots of different things. It could be that you're doing days of the week, it could be that you're doing active verbs, it could be that you're doing any number of different things. Okay? It's a really nice, powerful, simple way of creating really nice images to use for your top trumps cards, your revision cards, whatever it is. The final part of the process is to go and think about ThingLink. ThingLink is probably, for me, one of the best outputs for making for sort of pulling together app smashes. It's really, really powerful. So in Blue Peter fashion, here's one I made before. Okay, now, again, guess what I made that background image in? WordSwag.
Was it WordSwag?
It was WordSwag. Well done, thank you. Good guess. And if you haven't used ThingLink before, so you can go to add text, like so, and you can type in some text. So it could be, I just put in je m'appelle, what have you, and that will be the text. It could be that I make it a Twitter handle. It could be a website address with some notes or whatever. It could be lots of different things. And what it can also be, though, is media. So I can add media. Okay, I can take a video, or I can choose something from the gallery. So if I go to choose from gallery, Okay, I go to camera roll, I choose my Jumbo Bell mark. That then becomes a thing there. I can tap on the edit button, I can put a caption in there. My name is Slim Shady. No. So that's how you can add things there. What you could also do, if you were really quite brave, is to go to Add Media, and you could choose to take a video. So I could go to Take Video, just spin that round, and here's me, and Je m'appelle Marc. Je m'appelle Marc. There you go. And now that video is on there, and it's just a great way of pulling together lots of things that are practical and linking to the revision topic that you're doing. And not only have you got it for yourself, then actually in sort of that true sort of sharing way, what you can do is share that with the kids in your class, share that with your friends, share that with your mum and dad, share it if you're brave enough, out to the big wide world for anyone to see. And certainly, if kids are being asked to share things to the world, then they want to make it really, really good. I think that's pretty similar to that Rushton Hurley quote that I love so much. So it's a very simple app smash, but the fun, the creativity, the activity, all the rest of it can be really powerful when it comes to getting kids to help them with their revision. And that is my simple app smash. Thank you. So the health warning, and it's not quite I hope you're in your seats moment that Julian did, but word swag I believe is 229. So there are free options available, but I just like the fact that it looks so pro. It looks amazing and it's so quick and simple, because when it comes to my IT lessons or computing lessons, I want to make sure there are desirable difficulties in using the technology, because that's what you need to do to stretch the kids in using tech. But when it comes to using tech in French or art or wherever else, as a learning tool, you want to make it as simple and as effective as possible. So, I don't think it's too bad forking out a bit of wedge if you're going to actually use something which is impactful. So, that's it.
Bit of wedge for your wag.
Yes. That's right. I am the real Slim Shady after all. Look, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. There's been some fantastic ideas. As I said, there's no king or queen. In fact, reading some of the feedback on Twitter from people who've been listening in, like Sarah Pavey and Sarah Stobbs and Nina Jackson and what have you, it's just been really great. And I know that lots of people, not only from being with us right now, but also there's people who watch back later as well, who've got loads of ideas from the things that you've shared, and for that I'm really, really grateful. So thank you very much, first of all, to Simon for joining us today. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very, very much again to Rachel for joining us from the Isle of Man.
Thank you.
And thank you to living legend Julian Coultas, Digital Road Trip, Joe, Dale, and myself, and thank you also to Bryn, who appears to have dropped off again. Thank you to all of you for sharing. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. And thank you to everyone who joined us. Thank you.